Hello, my name is Gina, and we're going to be talking about the organizational structural power sources today, and I'm in the positive group. So first there is the agent and the recipient. These are the players in all of these sources of power. The agent is the driving force behind the influence. The recipient is on the receiving end of the influence. Our book gave an example of the agent being the physician, giving an order to the recipient, who would be the nurse, let's say. And she would then decide upon herself whether she's going to do what he says or not do what he says, if she thinks it's right or wrong. And then that gives her the power to control this. There's 5 bases of social power: coercive power, legitimate power, reverent power, expert power, and reward power. Coercive power, if I'm saying that correctly, results from a threat or real perceived means, either one. So the agent could be giving an order to the recipient, which could be almost a threatening thing, like, if you don't do this, I'm going to take away, some of your job, something in your job. And so the person feels like they're pressured to do what, so they don't get punished. Or it's not a threat. It's just that they have the power to give this order. Legitimate power comes from the cultural and social norms, also cultural and gender types. Like if we're used to a doctor being male and powerful, and we're looking up to him just because that's his status in our society, that's his legitimate power. Or the person just really does have legitimate power. In all of these, I should mention, there's good and bad examples. Reverent power is based on an extreme admiration or high respect of the agent, or a desire to impress this person. So you're going to do things that you might normally not do or agree with because you respect the person so much and think that they must know what they're talking about. Expert power is a perception that the agent has a high level of special skill set or knowledge, above everybody else. And reward power is doing something to secure a reward of usually a non-tangible type. If used correctly, it can motivate employees and have them do better. But if it's used through favoritism, reward power can decrease output and demoralize the employee. So there's bad and good in that one too. Then we have the healthcare managers using the 3 organizational power sources, which are resources, decision-making authority, and information. Resources is like the ability to generate and control organizational assets, staff, equipment, and funds. Decision-making authority is the ability to make difficult decisions on behalf of the health service organization. And information is a source of organizational influence to individual possess information valued and difficult to obtain. The article I read was making an example of like a really good secretary. Like we just got on our floor at the hospital I work at. We have a secretary that's it sounds silly, but she's really so good that the 2 different floors were like fighting for her, and we kind of stole her for our own floor. When people do not have access to this information, support, resources, and opportunity, they will begin to feel powerless. Employees possessing access to these opportunities and power structures will have higher motivation, increased organization skills, commitment, lowered burnout level, and increased autonomy, which I found interesting. That was from the Miller article. And the last part is this Mintzberg, which I never heard of until today, Mintzberg political game playing framework. So I took 3 examples of his and thought about how they could relate to my work at the hospital. So the whistleblowing was 1, insurgency was 2, and budgeting was 3. Whistleblowing is reporting info about an individual leading to maybe damage their reputation. So I was thinking about how one of my supervisors turned in our DON, our director of nursing, for making up fake policies. Now, she's only temporary DON, but she's, I'm not going to tell you my opinion of her, but she needs to be temporary. She needs to go. So she has been making up fake policies, and somebody finally had the you-know-whats to finally turn her in. And that was a good thing, because you can't just make up fake policies. Insurgency is an example of, let's see, well, what my example was, the RNs on my floor protesting, going on strike for protest of assignment. And the reason is because the assignment that they each have, you're supposed to have a certain amount of patients, like let's say at the most 8 patients per RN. And there was like 16 per RN. So they kept protesting until they finally went on strike that this is not safe for the patient because you need to have more work. We were having, very low staffing shortages. And so that was getting improved. And then they gave the RNs a little bit of a increase in salary also after the strike. Budgeting. Until unit managers our unit manager was fighting to get us the supplies we needed to continue working correctly. For example, we needed a Dynamap, which was over, $1,000, but we didn't have one, and we had to take the patient's vitals, and ours was really not working well. So she finally got that and a couple of other little things, but you have to prove what you need. And she was fighting for us, which was good that she got us all the supplies we needed. Okay, I hope you enjoyed my video. See you guys later. Thank you.